If you walk into a modern factory today, you're going to see a lot of impressive things. Robots, sensors, dashboards, big displays with flashy buttons and slick UIs. But what if I told you you often don't see the most important part of these systems? Hey there, I'm Christopher Sandoval. I'm a developer relations advocate here at FlowFuse. And today I'm going to show you how Node-RED and FlowFuse is quickly becoming the connective tissue for some of the most impressive examples of modern industrial automation. It may not be flashy and it may not be loud, but if you know what to look for, you'll notice it's literally everywhere. All right, let's jump right in. The fundamental OT-IT problem. So here's the reality. Industrial environments by their nature are messy. You often have PLCs speaking legacy protocols, sensors publishing mass amounts of raw data, enterprise systems expecting clean APIs, data teams asking for normalized streams, IT teams asking for observability and control, and OT teams grasping for freedom. It's a messy situation, and historically, the IT and OT realms have been at odds. OT lived at the edge, IT lived in orchestration and management, and integrations were brittle, custom, and expensive. This created a reality where every bridge was bespoke, every system custom, and any change, no matter how small or how large, generated friction between teams that otherwise should be working together. And the unfortunate reality is that where this friction was happening is actually one of the most critical areas of industrial automation. That led to increased frustration, slower build and deployments, and less effective implementations in reality. Node-RED as a critical bridge. Now, everything that we just talked about was core to the desire to build out Node-RED. Node-RED wasn't developed to replace PLCs. It wasn't designed to just be an MES or an ERP solution. It wasn't just meant to be this one-trick pony. Instead, Node-RED was designed to be your 1% or your 99%. It was developed to be a toolkit, a solution to take your system from mediocre to truly effective and efficient. And what this practically means is a few things. First off, Node-RED excels at protocol translation. But more than that, it gives you control over how you connect to those systems. We have over 5,000 community nodes that let you connect pretty much anything to pretty much everything. And if a node doesn't exist, Node-RED believes that you should be able to develop that node and to release it to the broader community. That level of control also gives you a lot more flexibility in the way that Node-RED actually makes your system work. And that means you can support things like event-driven architectures, time series databases, relational databases, and more complex data schemas. That also means that you have excellent control over your data processes and your data normalization. And fundamentally, that gives you context-aware decision-making abilities and observability at every single layer. Node-RED was basically designed to give you complete freedom. A Modbus signal can become structured data. OPC UA events can trigger a workflow. And you can take simple MQTT brokers and turn them into beautiful visualizations that help drive your business decisions and insights. And one of the most important things that you need to understand to really get what Node-RED is doing is to understand that this isn't just a middleware solution. Instead of being glue buried in the services, Node-RED brings everything down to the logic and the message layer. So if you can develop it based on logical structures and on the way that you're handling message and message topics, then you can build it better in Node-RED. When quiet infrastructure becomes critical. Now, Node-RED is obviously incredibly powerful, but it does create a little bit of risk on its own. Node-RED can be your 99% solution. It can be your connective tissue for all of your industrial automation processes. But the problem with connective tissue is that you don't realize that it's there until it fails catastrophically. Node-RED was built for a very specific set of purposes and benefits. And as long as you stay within those structures, Node-RED is fantastic. But the second you start doing more complex things, say trying to move production data or configuration from instance to instance, coordinating systems and orchestrating multi-site, multi-flow dashboards, or baking the logic of your security and device control into your Node-RED flows, well then things stop being integrations and they start becoming critical infrastructure. And that critical infrastructure cannot be brittle. Now at this point, teams start asking, who owns these flows? Who's managing all of these devices? How are we going to apply security across all of these systems? How are we going to manage these configurations, let alone version our instances? And how do we update things and roll out new versions safely? When Node-RED becomes critical infrastructure and those questions start to pop up, well, that is when FlowFuse enters the picture. FlowFuse is industrial logic at scale. So FlowFuse takes the benefits of Node-RED and all of the flows that you developed within it and makes them truly operational and controllable at scale. It gives you centralized management across instances, plants, regions, and sites. It gives you secure and granular access controls across all of your operations. It gives you version management, deployments, and rollbacks, while making sure that you have true auditability across all of your systems. It gives you production protection to make sure that your experimentation is safe, and it opens up new avenues of production and operations. Things like LLM-driven agentic implementations or a model context protocol for better context. The flows don't change and the openness doesn't disappear, but what really changes is confidence. FlowFuse gives you all of the benefits of Node-RED, plus the confidence to run your logic at the edge, on-prem, and in the cloud, with full control, full observability, and full orchestration capability. FlowFuse is the future of industrial automation. So here's the real story. Node-RED is incredibly powerful, but it was made for a very specific use case. And the reality is that the average enterprise need is a little bit further than what Node-RED can provide. Let me put it another way. If you had a friend who asked for your help moving out of their apartment, what would you want to bring? Would you want to bring a moving van, or would you want to bring a bicycle? The bicycle is a revolution that allows you to move from point A to point B very efficiently and very effectively. But there's no way that you're going to put a fridge on the back of your bike. So you need the proper tool for the job. When you just need a single flow or a small project managed, Node-RED is your solution. But when you have a fleet of devices or a bunch of users that need to have granular access control, you need something more. You need FlowFuse. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And if you're interested in trying out FlowFuse for yourself, click the link in the description below to talk to one of our team. This has been Christopher Sandoval. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.